Thank you, Anga.
Thank you.
We have some little time for some questions or comments. Do you want to start, Angel?
Yeah, definitely. It's one of the most interesting angles in this conversation, particularly for us, for Airbnb. We see that home sharing, or the capacity of locals to host travelers in the place where they live, it's precisely a way to empower them to attract more sustainable tourism, more meaningful experiences, and also to empower them with regards to the city as well. I mean, it helps them stay in the neighborhoods where they live, they can stay in their homes, and they can keep the traditional character. So we see that this particular kind of host can be a very powerful tool in order to address this challenge which actually exists. We see that tourism apartments, we see that actually traditional accommodation, not only kind of accommodation that can be in the platform, have an extensive presence in the city. So in this complex conversation, I think we have quite interesting arguments, and it's one conversation to have, I would say. It's an important one, and it's yet to be fully understood or fully taken advantage of what the sharing economy can do in this context.
In terms of research, if we look at the impact of tourism, it has always been expressed in economic figures, and this is also what we have seen the presentations from Angel. It's overnight stays, it's length of stay, it has the direct and indirect economic indicators of tourist flows. What I think that we need to think of for the future as researchers, to think of other types of indicators that look more holistically into the impact of the collaborative economy. So how can we think of the ecological footprint that I have also seen in your presentation that was quite interesting to look at, and also the social impact on neighborhoods when you have got a new type of mobile consumer without any citizenship rights and no citizenship obligations to stay there. So I think that is absolutely something that we have to look into in partnership with practitioners. Maria?
Yeah, well, I think that, for example, we have a really more information about accommodation, Airbnb, Uber, big companies, but the small companies, which is the case, for example, with tourist guides, free walking tours, we don't have so much information, and then we cannot just provide the impacts and effects because actually we don't know more about it, how it works. We need to compare, to make comparisons with different destinations, and then we'll see which kind of effects. And as Sylvia mentioned it before, we need probably to open new indicators more broadly that provide more information with the social impacts, especially that it will be more linked with tourists and with tour guides and free walking tours.
Yes, please. Yeah, we could hear you. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
now.
Thank you.
Yes, this is I am Mariana André from the University of Barcelona, and in fact, I'd like to join this debate. I think that sometimes we have to also focus that, of course, we have a problem of the coexistence or of problems in the city and social problems, and so. We are talking about sharing economy and collaborative economy, so our first objective should be to be good neighbors in our neighborhood. So this has no point. There's no question on this. But sometimes I think, and let me be a little bit provocative, sometimes we are a little bit. We have a little hypocrisy because we talk about the impacts on the society, but we forget that the offer is created, is promoted, but the same society who wants this money for paying their loans or whatever. So this is not such an easy question, such an easy point to be dealt, because we are complaining that we have a crowded neighborhood or we have noise or whatever, but we forget that it's our neighbor who's putting his flat or whatever on the net to take the incomes. So of course, being collaborative or being involved in this new economy means being collaborative in the first stage with your own neighborhood and with the society you live in or you live within. But there's another paradox in this sense. We complain, but in the same way, we are the same people that are putting the offer using these platforms. So sorry for joining the debate.
No, I will just wanted to complement your comment. Thank you, because I think that within this sharing economy, I mean, this is this morality, duality that we are in this capitalist market structure, but you want to define a new sharing economy, a new way to share things, but at the end you are paying something, you are receiving something. But I think that we have also kind of the power relation. I mean, the consumers have more power than businesses, and we are also consumers. So in that sense, we are part as a consumers. We want to have some benefits and profits about it. Also, we wouldn't want to pay. Why I will pay 15 euros for free walking tour if I cannot pay anything? So I will take a profit of that. So we are kind of duality in our moral things, I would say.
My turn? Okay. My name is Miguel Galmez. This question, well, it's two questions. Go for Angel, Airbnb. The first one, I haven't logged into the website of Airbnb for a long time, so I'm wondering whether you are able to identify if an apartment or a house is a home or is just a touristic business of the owner. Is there a chance to differentiate if you are a user? This is the first question, and let me add the second one. The second one is, what is your opinion, or how do you argue on not the virtues? You explain all the virtues of the program. I use Airbnb, so I like it, but we all know that there are also many negative aspects, and let me address two. The first one is the obligations that your competitors have, apart hotels and hotels, and the other one is the creation of employment, which is a very important aspect in Spain. So these 2 points, please.
Regarding the first one, it's not difficult to know what's a primary residence through a platform. I mean, particularly if you have used it, more than once. You can see lots of photos, you can see a large profile, you can see if the hosts have 1 or 5 listings. If you have one, there are different elements of transparency that really makes you very obvious the kind of place you are going. And also, in case you are interested in one specific experience, before the booking, you have at least 2, I don't know if it's 2 or 3 opportunities to contact your host and make sure that you are finding what you seek. So yeah, in this context, I think there's a clear distinction. And then on the 2 issues you raised, the first one on competition or unfair competition with incumbents and traditional players. Here, I would like to share what's our vision and what's the vision of the competition authorities in Spain. Our vision is that first, the competition is healthy when it's allowed to happen, so the more competition the better. But in this specific market, we believe that the Airbnb guest or the travelers that Airbnb brings to a destination is a different kind of traveler that is complementary to the existing traditional accommodation. I mean, it's not the same a tourist that goes to a hotel than a tourist that goes through to someone else's home. So we see how the hotels are growing and are achieving record numbers anyways, in parallel to the growth of the sharing economy model. And then finally, I would like to emphasize the opinion of the Spanish Competition Authority, CNMC, as well as the opinion of the Catalan and the Basque competition authorities, who have been already being vocal about the sharing economy. They are actually more radical than us. They say that the sharing economy is opening markets. It's absolutely positive for the competition and for free competition. And actually the only limit or the only challenge to free competition and to healthy competition in these markets are those regulations that are introducing barriers of entry based on the interest of the incumbents. So in Spain, the competition authorities basically think that it should be the barriers to entry for these new players should be removed rather than improved. And in terms of employment, I think it's a very vast conversation on traditional economy and the way jobs are defined, and new economy and new business models. We could say that as this kind of activity don't really have yet a clear definition in terms of jobs, what we could emphasize or we could focus on is on the economic impact. I mean, the money that pours into the economy is also developing the economy. So we can calculate, for example, in our economic impact studies, we calculate the number of jobs that would be generated by a given impact of this million of euros in a given city. So I think that we have to collect more evidence, but what is self-evident precisely is that a large economic impact brings growth and brings jobs. So it's not what I would like to say in this context is that this conversation has to be taken up with a very wide perspective, and we can basically be confident that jobs and economy is being created.
This is Juan Estarellas from Aptur Baleares, the association that tries to protect the interests of the people who share houses. I would like to add from Angel has talked that in Balearic Island there is a study that in villas and tourist apartments the employment there are 23 people from each 100 persons that come to these villas. 23 people are employed or self-employed for the business, against the 15 people that comes to the hotels. That for 100 people that comes to the hotels, 50 people are employed. So there's a study done already, and it's a government study, and we took it to do our own study, finding out that the 45% of the people that comes to Mallorca or Balearic Islands uses the sharing economy. Apartments and villas and houses, whatever. I would like to ask you, just for clear something that you were saying. I would ask you a question that as we are working together with the government to make a new regulation that we expect that for next season is going to be ready. I would like to ask, when the regulation of Paris. Was any problem with the parts of the city that should be destinated to the sharing economy, or it was decided from the beginning that it was wide open I don't know if.
I think, well, I couldn't share the very details. I would say that it was a rather long conversation on concepts, and the key was opened by the housing law, that basically, based on the French Constitution, recognized rights on your own home that went beyond any commercial or economic activity. That was kind of the key of these agreements. But these are very long, complex conversations, because it really affects lots of fields of work and regulations, and it's difficult to pick one. Every regulatory context is different. These activities are regulated by different levels of government and administration that have to be combined. So what we expect in Spain, in every jurisdiction in Spain, is to have the same, actually we are having the same kind of proactive attitude to go in detail, to find solutions and to find the right regulatory framework for our users.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
I'm quite conscious about the time being, so I would suggest that we close this session now to go for the coffee break, and we would have ample opportunities to share ideas and talk to Ángel and Maria and discuss eventual questions and commentaries in a more informal setting. Thank you very much.